Good evening, everyone. Did you guys hear my voice clearly?
Yes.
Okay, right. First of all, let us thanks to the Almighty God. Because of His blessing, we can join in this class. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation today is about the great Chronicles of London, Dark Secret of Princess Death. And today's presentation is divided into 5 sessions. The first session is opening, second session is introduction, third session is presentation, fourth session is question and answer, fifth session is closing. Let's continue with the second session, which is introduction. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce our team. My name is Maria Teresia Wedoputri as a moderator today. And the first speaker is Nila Putu Tarisa Damayanti, second speaker, Paulina Merlin, and third speaker, Yuliana Resti Hading, and the last is Imade Aditya Triatawang. Thank you. The next agenda is presentation session. For the first turn, will be given by the first presenter. Tarisa, are you here?
Yes, Reza.
Sorry, Tarisa, I can't hear your voice clearly. Oh,
yes,
okay,
Reza.
right.
I'm here.
Go on, Tarisa. Time is yours.
Yes, here I will present about a list of the Great Chronicle. The Great Chronicle of London, Dark Secret of Princess Death. The disappearance of two friends, Edward and Richard, in 1483 is one of the most intriguing murders of the Tower of London. The mysterious episode unfolds with sinister speed over a single summer, yet is still being debated by historians centuries later. The princes, sons of Edward IV and Elizabeth Woodville, were born during the intense turmoil of the Wars of the Rose. On Edward's death in 1483, his brother, the Duke of Gloucester, later Richard III, became Lord Protector of Edward's son and hired the 12 years old Edward then he Duke immediately placed Edward in the Tower of London, closely by his 9 years old brother Richard for their protection. What became this young boy's remains a mystery. They were never seen alive again. We might never know the truth about the four friends, but they were victims of one of the most vicious interfamily conflicts this country has ever known. Next. Redemption of Henry. In 1470, Henry's six Laskatarian supporters freed him from the tower and had him recrowned. The event was known as the Redemption. Edward IV fled to Flanders with his close brother, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, future Richard III, his wife, Elizabeth Woodville, and their children sought refuge in St. Peter's, sanctuary within Westminster Abbey. On 1 October 1470, the pregnant Elizabeth arrived at the Abbey, accompanied by her mother and 3 daughters. Elizabeth, Mary, and Cecily. A month later, she gave birth to a son, Edward, who became the heir to the throne. The family lived in relative comfort under the above care. Next. Suspicious death of Henry VI, the Lancasterian Henry VI resigned, was cut short when Edward returned from exile in early 1471. He defeated Henry's followers at the Battle of Tewkesbury, where Henry's teenager son and heir was killed in the fighting. Henry was once again incarcerated in the Tower. Then, in May, news came of Henry that it was first thought he died of melancholy, but gradually suspicious arose that he was murdered by agent of the Duke of Gloucester while at player in the Wakefield Tower. A claim still unproven to this day. However, his death effectively ended the Lancasterian line, which was certainly convenient for Edward IV. Now he could strengthen his rule, having both an heir in his eldest son Edward and a spare in his next son Richard. Next. With the return and restoration of his father in 1471, Prince Edward was invested as Prince of Wales. He was sent to his father's childhood home Ludlow Castle in the Wales border to the educated under the care of his uncle, Anthony. Lord Rivers. Anthony was the Queen's brother and the King's right-hand man. He was also regarded as an intelligent man and a noted scholar. That's all and will be continued by Merlin.
Okay, thank you, Tarisa. For the next presenter, Paulina Merlin. Merlin?
Yes, there is.
Hello, Merlin. I can't hear your voice clearly.
Yeah, Reza.
Okay. Okay, Merlin, you may start now.
Thank you, Reza. Death of Edward IV. On the 9th April 1483, Edward IV died unexpectedly, aged 41, possible of pneumonia of typhoid by the time. He had saved relative peace and prosperity, leaving behind a secure crown and personal fortune. On his deathbed, the king entrusted his loyal brother Richard, Duke of Gloucester, as the Lord Protector to his heir. Prince Edward was at Ludlow Castle when the news arrived of his father's death. At the age of 12, he was now the new king, and his brother Richard, aged 9, became heir presumptive. Immediately, Edward V made his way to London, escorted by his maternal uncle, Earl Rivers. Next, were the two princes murdered. What happened next has been the subject of intense debate ever since, and is one of the darkest chapters in the tower's long history. It is now widely believed that something during the autumn of the year, the two princes were quietly murdered, at whose hands we will probably never know. Who murdered the princes in the tower? So here are the possibilities of what happened to the prince in no particular order, other than the order they emerged from my brain. The one King Richard III has the cure. Please don't inhale and reach for your keyboard if you think he's incorrect. Innocent. He's a rather notable suspect. Richard, as Duke of Gloucester, served his brother Edward IV with loyalty and honor. Edward left him to get on with ruling the north of England, and he did a sterling good job of it. 2. Henry Stafford, the Duke of Buckingham, was descended from both John of Gaunt and Thomas of Woodstock. Again, if contemporary or near contemporary accounts are to be believed, he had something of a grudge against the Woodfiles, believing that his marriage to Catherine Woodfile was beneath his dignity and that he had been permitted to take up his correct position in society. And next will be continued by Resti. Thank you.
Thank you, Merlin, for your great explanation. The next presenter is Yelena Resti Hading. Resti?
All right, thank you, Reza, for the time. All right, I'm going to continue the explanation from my friends, Merlin. So let us continue. The third is Sir James Tyler. According to Sir Thomas More and Polydare Virgil, the chap that did the deed, he apparently confessed in 1902 prior to his execution. There is no copy of the confession in existence. The Great Chronicle of London reported the rumor. The fourth is and that was more or less it until historians began revising their views in the 20th century. Next slide, Teresa. Okay, so the fifth, they died accidentally of illness. Well, why didn't Richard just say? Who would have believed him? And look what happened to Edward II and Richard II and Henry VI. No one believed their deaths were natural, and that's mainly because they weren't. The sixth is they didn't die at all. There was a story in Tyrell's family that he removed the boys from the tower. Next, Reza. Okay, so the seventh is there are a couple of other candidates for murderer, like a John Hobart, who became Duke of Norfolk. He was the claimant to the estate of the Mowbray Dukes of Norfolk. For the next presentation will be continued by Dede, but time I give back to Reza. Thank you.
Thank you, Rusty, for the great explanation. So we have a last presenter today, Dede. Can you hear my voice? Okay, Dede, time is yours. Go on.
So let me come together my group presentation. He was given custody of the Tower of London under less than regular circumstances. The night the princes are supposed to have disappeared from the tower or where. He had opportunity, and it turns out he had a motive. Richard, Duke of York, was also Duke of Norfolk in right of his recent child, bride Anne, and daughter of the last Mowbray Duke. Number 8, and finally John de Liverpool, Earl of Lincoln. John had been by Uncle Richard's side throughout 1483. Like Buckingham, he was trusted, he will become Richard's heir presumptive after Edward of Middleham's death. If we are going to suggest that Buckingham was looking to be king, then it also makes sense that someone a bit nearer to the crown would bear some investigation. Also, there are a dark secret in this Chronicles of London. According to the Italian chronicles Dominic Mancini, soon afterward they were withdrawn to the inner apartments of the tower proper, and day by day began to be seen more rarely behind the bars and windows until at length they ceased to appear altogether. Already there is a suspicion that they have been done away with. Mancini was a minor diplomat at Edward IV's court between 1420 and 1482 and 1483. As customary to foreign diplomats, he wrote a report of what he witnessed and heard, including gossip and rumor of the life at court. Mancini's account on the princes suggests that they were moved from the gardens or Bloody Tower to the White Tower, where royal captives tended to be held. So at least we are at the end of the presentation. The analysis conclusion is the thing is that there is some evidence, but it's contradictory and circumstantial. It might be possible to rule out the prince's survival if the bones in the earned in Westminster Abbey turned out to belong to Edward V and Richard of York. Even if they weren't, it would necessarily mean that they had survived their misadventure. And if the bones were theirs, it would prove who did the killing, since the skeletons did not emerge from their resting place clutching a note identifying the murderer. So it would make the account offered by more plausible, errors and all. And that's all my group intend to post about the Princess in the Tower for the time being. Most of the time, with a few notable exceptions, if it weren't for the traffic stats on the history jar, I would know whether anyone was reading my our group rambling or not. I've not got the hang of being like joining communities or developing conversation through comments. Without the wood files and the princess on the other hand certainly get a response. So thank you for the time and the attention for class F, our friends, and I give back the time to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dede, for the great explanation. So we come to the last session. Finally, we are come to the last session. Thank you for all of the presenter. Did you guys have any question for group 2? Oh, I think it's clear enough, yeah. Okay, I would like to say thank you again for the presenter, Miss Devi, and all of the participants today. So see you guys on the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Risa.